This is Locked On Bets, the daily betting show that means business from the Locked On Podcast Network. Hosted by Lee Sterling and Kevin Rogers, they're dropping fearless picks with an inside edge to put money in your pocket. If there's action, they've got the lock. This is where smart bets start. It's Locked On Bets.
Good morning. Time now for Locked On Bets, another big edition here on this Tuesday. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports with you. And always, we appreciate you making Locked On Bets your first listen of the day here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Yesterday, we talked about the Alabama Crimson Tide. Today, we're talking about the Georgia Bulldogs later on and their win total outlook for the season as we continue towards college football starting in just a few weeks. Also, we got some baseball and WNBA to get to, Lee. So let's start it up with a blowout.
Oh, boy. Last one out, turn off the lights. This one's a blowout.
And we begin in Baltimore tonight, Lee, as the Mariners hook up with the Orioles, and Seattle has been on fire trying to make a run of their first World Series ever. We'll see if they can do it this year. Still a ways to go. But Randy Arozarena, we've seen him in the World Series in the past with the Rays against the Dodgers a few years ago, and now a member of the Mariners. So what do you have with Arozarena tonight against the O's?
I got a ton of blowouts and a ton of locks going today and this week. And this is the first one. And hint, hint, this is going to be on my card for my client. So Randy Arozarena is under the radar. Got great leadership. And boy, does he hit Dean Kremer 3 for 9 with 2 home runs. And how has he done at Camden Fields? Well, it's his favorite ballpark, as is with many of the top hitters. 17 career home runs at Camden Yards. Weather looks great. This is a guy that's under the radar. Everyone talks about Rodriguez, the pickups that they got from Arizona, their great pitching staff. This guy's the leader. He sets the table. He can hit those doubles, home runs. Randy Arozarena over 1.5 bases tonight in their game. This is going to be my blowout special.
And we'll see if we can get one of these back on track, Lee. Last night, for our recap, 1 and 2 on our 3 plays. And again, Brent Rooker of the A's in their loss to Tampa Bay got 1 hit. Just couldn't get the extra base. And you've had some of those of late. You're on fire with the base props, and it's kind of cooled off a little bit. Unfortunately, the 1.5 got to 1, just can't get to 2.
Yeah, got taken by the hook. He took his swings. You know, he's not a guy that's going to walk, but just couldn't find an open pitch of grass there. So, yeah, I think we'll be fine. And this is, like I said, probably it might be the biggest play that I've had in the last month as far as a player prop. So hint, hint, if you like to go a little bit extra, 1.5, 2 times your normal bet once in a while, Randy Arozarena is your guy for tonight.
And also last night, the Reds, they fell short against the Phillies. The Reds were up 1-0 halfway through that game in Philadelphia, like they've done a lot this year. They get a lot of runs late, and they beat up these bullpens, and Philadelphia ended up beating Cincinnati 4-1. Andrew Abbott pitched well, but just the bullpen couldn't hold it. So that was a tough one there. And we did win in the late night game. The Padres and the Giants had the under first 5, and it makes it easy, Lee, when they throw up a bunch of zeros in the first 5. So went 0-0. Padres ended up winning the game 4-1, but ended up salvaging that one late night to go 1-2.
Well, you shouldn't. That shouldn't have been your under the radar play, your hidden gem. That should have been your lock of the year, Kevin. So, hats off to you. That was maybe the greatest play so far we've had this year. Great first 5 pick there. Didn't have to sweat it. I probably should have gone with the first 5. We had a pitcher who was red hot, and he's putting up zeros. And what is his manager, Terry Francona, who I normally like, he just has not trusted his bullpen. So after 7 innings, he kept him in for the 8th, and sure enough, they hit him, and probably should have taken him out. He was tired. He was approaching 90 pitches, and that last inning did him in and gave up 4 runs. And they were the team. They were probably the right pick. I just probably should have gone with the first 5.
Yeah, well, the Reds unfortunately could not finish it off, so we move on to today, and we still have some more picks to get to. Quickly with the NFL league, just always want to touch on that. We're heading into week 2 of the preseason this week, and that's normally, as they call it, the dress rehearsal, because week 3, since they've gone from 4 games to 3 games, now that week 3 game is just a complete throwaway for all these teams. But as far as week 2, anything, not necessarily picks right now, but any storylines that stand out to you as far as who needs to step up coming up this week?
Oh, I mean, I think we're going to find out what's going to happen. I think you're going to see starters play pretty much a half for almost every single team. I'm just waiting to see the rotations, and I think we'll start seeing them getting released today and on Wednesday. So at that time, we could have some plays coming tomorrow. So we'll try to get ahead of some of these lines. But yeah, I mean, there's some teams that need to find out, if their starter is good enough. Teams like Minnesota. Not a rookie. He ended up missing the whole season last year. And then Cleveland, we're going to find out if Shedeur Sanders is the answer, or is it going to be one of their other 4 starters? So it's definitely going to be interesting. Like I said, this is the game. And in the last preseason games, I mean, they almost sometimes summon guys from out of nowhere just to put them on the field. They go like 45, 50 out of the 60 minutes, and starters will not even come close to the field in those games. So this is going to be an interesting and probably the only interesting weekend for NFL preseason. And I think we'll be locked in and ready.
Yeah, Cleveland goes to Philadelphia coming up on Saturday afternoon. Also, we'll see what the Colts do with Daniel Jones. He's going to start. I mean, it looks like you know what it's kind of like, Lee? I'm going to make this comparison to you. It's like the end of Rocky 2, when both Apollo Creed and Rocky were on the mat and trying to climb back up to see who would win. That's what this quarterback battle is with Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones, to see who could just make it out of the two, because it's just not a good race between the two of them.
No. And it starts with the organization, the ownership. Unfortunately, the owner had died. Now his sister's taken over. The head coaching and the coaching staff is nothing special. That's what you see over and over. Why do the bad teams continue to lose? Poor ownership, poor usually general managers, mediocre to poor head coaches, and the good coaches, they end up staying. Like look at Baltimore, the continuity, great owners, they draft well. Their GM Ozzie Newsome, head coach, Jim Harbaugh, one of the best. So you got a nice hierarchy, and it goes down. Even their scouts are solid and are treated well. And, there's a reason why the Dolphins, the Jets, Cleveland, these same teams continue to lose. You're not all of a sudden going to, find this great coach out of nowhere that's going to be able to overcome all the other problems in your organization.
Yeah, just some other things to keep an eye on this weekend. We'll see Aaron Rodgers if he makes his debut at quarterback for the Steelers. They play Tampa Bay on Saturday. Cam Ward played well in his limited time for Tennessee. I'm sure he'll see more time when they face Atlanta coming up on Friday. And also for Jacksonville, we'll see what they do also at New Orleans coming up on Sunday. And Travis Hunter, if he ends up getting more snaps on each side, again, that's going to be crazy to see what he could do both at receiver and at cornerback coming up this season. We do have still a lot to get to, some more picks for tonight. WNBA out west, the Liberty and the Sparks. Also, the Red Sox and the Astros played a wild game last night. Houston won. We'll see if they could do it again tonight. And we're going to talk about the Georgia Bulldogs, Kirby Smart's team, and what they can do coming up this season in the SEC. All of that is straight ahead. You are listening to Locked On Bets. Talk to you now about Gametime. And if you ever decide at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends or family, maybe it's game day and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands. That's exactly where Gametime comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last minute tickets without the stress. With the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, or even invite a bigger group to come with you. Gametime makes it possible. Gametime makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to first pitch. And they've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. Gametime is the official ticketing partner of Locked On MLB, and plenty of great action all around the country if you're in New York, Yankees and the Twins in the Bronx. If you're down in Texas, the Astros and the Red Sox hooking up in Houston, or if you're in Arlington, the Rangers and D-backs, a World Series rematch from a few years ago, or even out west in California, a lot of games there. Giants, Padres in San Francisco, Dodgers, Angels in Anaheim, the A's and Rays in Sacramento, all over the place. There's Major League Baseball, and there's only one place to go. That is Gametime. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use Locked On for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. We continue here, Locked On Bets here on this Tuesday. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports. And Lee, it's time to go back to the W for a hidden gem.
To find a diamond in the rough, you need to dig a little deeper for those hidden gems.
New York-LA is still a good rivalry. I don't care what sport it is, and especially in the WNBA, the Liberty and the Sparks, two of the original teams in the league. They meet tonight at Crypto.com Arena. And Lee, we're going to go with the Liberty first quarter minus a point, and a couple reasons why. Number one, the LA Sparks, they have played very well of late. They're coming off a big win over Seattle a few nights ago, but they're also the second worst team in the WNBA in the first quarter, 12-19 straight up. They're the worst team against the spread, 11-20 this year in the first quarter. They're also 4-11 against the spread at home in the first quarter. Since the All-Star break, the Sparks have played very well, but they just get off the slow starts. They're 1-5 straight up in the first quarter off of a win. Now, when you look at the New York Liberty, they head out west. They have two big games the next two nights. Sparks tonight, they go to Vegas tomorrow to face the Aces. They're 4-1 in the last five games in the first quarter. But here's the one key, though, Lee. A bit of a revenge game for the Liberty. Last time they played in New York a few weeks ago, LA led 35-20 after the first quarter. You know what LA shot in that first quarter? 13 of 19 from the floor, including 7 of 10 from three. They could not miss in that game. New York actually came all the way back and tied it. LA beat them with a buzzer beater, but I think New York gets off to a better start tonight, hitting the road, and also it's tough to ignore LA's numbers early in these games. It'll probably end up being a good game. But with all that being said, let's take the New York Liberty -1 in the first quarter for our hidden gem.
Let me give you a hint, Kevin. Just get ready. So my kids make fun of me sometimes. They'll become a level 2 lock. Things like that. They like to imitate me. Your son is going to walk by one time in the house, and you're going to tell him, what time it is. He goes, time for bed. So
I'm telling you, it's sticking. It really is. It's sticking. That's it. The other ones I can't do as well as you, but that one I think I lapped you on. So we'll see.
I think you're doing pretty good with it. So I'm just telling you, just get ready. Our kids love to mock us.
Yes, absolutely. So let's go from the WNBA down to baseball.
Oh boy! Last one out. Turn off the lights. This one's a blowout.
All right, Lee, the Red Sox and the Astros tonight down in Houston, and Boston led 2-0 early. Houston came back and beat them last night. Astros off a long road trip, but didn't matter. And the Red Sox still playing very well, but tonight we'll see what they do against the Astros. So what do you have in this American League showdown tonight?
All right, the Red Sox. I think they have a major problem here with postseason around the corner. I just don't think they have the pitching depth here. In my opinion, maybe the worst pickup at the trade deadline was Dustin May. I mean, this guy, they're making him their 5th starter. I don't get it. So I don't think there's any value to him in the trade. He has a 4.93 ERA, 4.85 expected ERA. So he was with the LA Dodgers. I mean, he had a ton of great fielders around him. So if he was with a worse fielding team like he is with Boston, I think his ERA is only going to go up here. And he's also 1-7 with a 7.09 ERA away from home this year. So also looking at his spin rates, and it's very important this time of year. You look at the velocity and the spin rates, and his spin rates, just has gone way down since June 21st. And I just don't have any faith in him. On the other side, Spencer Arrighetti, on the other hand, interesting pitcher. So his 2025 numbers, not good. 7.73 ERA, just 13 innings over his first 3 starts this year. They just did not let him stretch out much at all. But 10 of his 11 earned runs came in 2 appearances on the road. He actually went 6 innings of 1 hit ball in his season debut at home. So, his career ERA at home, 3.86 and 14 career starts versus 5.59 and 17 starts away from Houston. So I just think it's a case of he just does much better at home, and you facing a pitcher does much worse away from home. And remember, Boston lost game 1 of the series last night, and I think they're starting to slip. They've lost here now 4 of the last 5, and Houston looks like they're going to go head-to-head with the Seattle team. That's going to be a fun race, 2 really good teams. So I'm going to take the Houston Astros here, money line, -120. I think the line's going to go up. Get on it now. It's going to be another blowout special.
And also give you another number here, Lee. Dusty May this year with the Dodgers and Red Sox, he's 6-12-1 in the first 5 innings. So even poor starts for him. They actually led the Royals early in his first start with the Red Sox, and Kansas City came back to take the lead at the end of 5, and then the Royals ended up winning that game. So, very interesting move by the Red Sox there. And May, who maybe had some potential years ago with the Dodgers, just didn't work out. And you see that with LA as well, that for as loaded as their lineup is, that somehow they haven't gotten those young pitchers. They haven't found a way to really have that pitching. I mean, you have Ohtani, who's obviously, a world-class player, but then I feel like the other guys, they just never found a way to fill that 3, 4, 5 spot in that rotation.
Yep. I just think that it was not a good move. So normally Boston does a pretty good job at the trade deadline. This year, not so great.
And we'll see how that one turns out tonight with the Red Sox and Astros down in Houston, and the AL West race as well with the Astros and Mariners coming down the stretch is going to be very, very fun. Coming up, we will talk about the Georgia Bulldogs and what they'll do coming up this season inside the SEC. That is straight ahead. You are listening to Locked On Bets. We continue here, Locked On Bets, on this Tuesday. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports, and we've been rolling through these college football win totals and going through plenty of teams leading up towards the season, and a little over 2 weeks away from week 0. So that is a good thing. And we talked also yesterday about the Alabama Crimson Tide, one of their big wins last year over the Georgia Bulldogs. Still ended up losing 4 games. But Georgia, they lost 3 games last year. We'll see if they can bounce back. And it's time now for the lock of the day.
Open it, open it, open it. Lee has the key to the lock of the day.
So time now, Lee, for the lock of the day. Kirby Smart, 10th season at Georgia. Wow, time just flies when you're having fun, right? So he is looking to, I hate to say bounce back because they still had a good season last year, but I guess after you won the championship back in 2022, it feels like it's gone a little dry the last few seasons. So Lee, what do you think about the Bulldogs?
Let me tell you something. For a while, I mean, they were right there with Alabama. I mean, the talent level was incredible. Offensive and defensive line and their linebackers. And I mean, they had guys also running back like James Cook. They didn't even need to have great quarterbacks, but they even went to Texas last year and absolutely dominated the first half. But I think they caught Texas maybe feeling really good about themselves. So the question is, let's start with the top. How good is Kirby Smart? I think he's good. I don't think there's any one great coach that's that much better than anyone else now. So I think he's good, but I don't love his offensive coordinator, Mike Bobo. I don't think he's anything special. And now Gunnar Stockton's going to take over a quarterback. I think he's a Jag, just another guy there. So I think he would be better served as a backup. I don't think he's going anywhere in the next level. So I think he's a guy that, they just don't have anyone better. And the players seem to love him. I mean, he's an emotional leader, and that's great, but you also got to have talent. Now, the talent around him is going to be a little bit better. Nate Frazier and 2 or 3 other really good running backs. I think it's going to take the running back level up to where it's been the last couple of years. It's been nothing special. They had to, recruit some guys in the transfer portal, and that didn't pan out. So they'll be a little bit better. And they'll also be a little bit better at receiver. Colby Young didn't pan out from Miami. He's still around. He's expected to start. Noah Thomas from Texas A&M is a nice addition. But they lost 3 out of 5 starting offensive linemen. They lost 3 out of 4 defensive linemen. So, they play some 3-4 and some 4-3. I just don't see the same type of talent we've seen in the past. So they did get a nice transfer from Army, believe it or not. Eli Mendoza, you usually don't get transfers from Army, Navy, or Air Force, but he should be able to help out this team. But I think they're going to have to rely on special teams, which were good last year. They're going to have to be special. They've also got to travel some tough games. They got to go to Tennessee, who they've dominated. I think Tennessee will be waiting for them. That is a tough place to play. They got to travel to Auburn, who will be much better. They also they've got to play Texas at home, and Texas will be ready for that game after losing last year. Then they even got to finish up against Georgia Tech, and Georgia Tech plays them really hard and should have won that game last year. So this is another total like we talked about yesterday. Alabama sitting at 9.5. I think Alabama is ascending a little. I'm just not a big buyer in Georgia. I think the talent level, the coaching, quarterback position, I have some question marks. I'm going to go under. I'm not a buyer. I'm a seller on the Georgia Bulldogs. That's going to be my level 2 lock. Take the under 9.5 wins on the Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah, you mentioned that Georgia Tech game last year that they should have lost at home. I mean, even look at the Texas game, the SEC championship, how that one went. So,
right.
This Georgia team, obviously still one of the best in the country. But like you said, even look, maybe I'm crazy. Even the Florida game isn't a gimme anymore in Jacksonville. I don't think that's going to be one that, Georgia for years can just walk in and win that game. So it's going to be interesting. And they'll win their non-conference. They'll go 3-0 in non-conference easily. But yeah, that Tennessee game out of the gate, first SEC game in Knoxville coming up September 13th. That should be interesting to see how it all turns out for Georgia.
How about one other game? Ole Miss. I mean, Lane Kiffin, when he's got a great team and a lot is expected out of him, he usually falls flat on his face. But as an underdog, he'll play to win. He's got nothing to lose, and he's got a very underrated young quarterback who's dynamic running and throwing the football, who can make some things happen and put some pressure on a quarterback. So they hit on so many guys. I mean, their defensive line and linebackers were absolutely sick for about 5 or 6 years. I think it's down just a full level from where it's been. And, sometimes you just hit on guys. There's a bunch of guys in your backyard, Georgia, South Carolina, Alabama area, Northern Florida, that they're able to take advantage of. And they hit on guys and they developed them, and congrats to that. But just like Alabama came down a couple notches the last couple of years. I think Georgia kind of plateaued. They lost 3 last year. I have them losing at least 3 games again this year.
Quickly, I know that he hasn't played that much, but Gunnar Stockton, what were your takeaways when you saw him play? He faced Texas in the SEC championship. What did you see with him?
He's okay. He's a backup, decent arm, not great arm, and moves around. I mean, his best characteristic is he's a leader and the team believes in him. But, the bottom line, you also have to have top-level talent to win big games a lot of times. Less talent around you is just incredible, and you can just distribute the ball. So he's going to have to take his game to the next level if they want to be one of these teams that's going to be in the college football playoff.
Lee, we are at Tuesday. We're a few days away from the NFL resuming for week 2 of the preseason. So what do you got going on at Paramount Sports?
Yep, looks like the rest of the week we're going to be heavy on NFL preseason football. UFC. I mean, UFC, we've been red hot. We've won 10 of the last 12 cards, hit both the selections last week. We'll start having a selection coming out tomorrow. So listen to the show. I will have one early release there. And baseball, look to keep that rolling. So football, you like to get involved, go to the website. Just $19.97 from now through the Super Bowl. Nice to build the bankroll in preseason. So, you're not going to win every week, and that way you got a nice bankroll, and you're not there's not that pressure. And UFC we'll announce the card probably tomorrow. How many selections we'll have? It's a pay-per-view coming from Chicago. Absolutely stacked card there from top to bottom. So you want to get involved, and then baseball, the two specials, 10 days, $50 for both the games and the player props. Just one place, ParamountSports.com.
And also don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Locked On Bets, as well as our podcast version as well. You can find it on your favorite audio platform. You can find Lee Sterling on X at Paramount Sports, myself, Rogers Picks. Again, we appreciate you tuning in today, and we'll be back with you on Wednesday for another edition of Locked On Bets right here on the Locked On Podcast Network.